Hello everyone, this is Donna from Even the Scales, and I'm on my channel right now to talk about the abuse that my landlord, St George Community Housing, is putting me through right now here in Campbelltown, New South Wales. This landlord is just putting me through horrific abuse in my home right now, and whoever he is, he's relentless. I'm not going to go into I don't want to go into too much detail on this video about why this is happening and how it's happening, but I've just got to go through a few things to make people see what the big picture of what's actually happening here. So far this morning, since I woke up, this landlord has had two of the neighbours tampering with the air in my home. This is because he has rigged their homes. He's rigged the range hoods over their stove so that they can put whatever they like through their range hoods. Instead of going out through the roof, everything is diverted into my unit. So these people can put whatever they like through their range hoods, which is very, it's very worrying to me because the woman downstairs, she's actually sent raw gas into my home in the past. And these people are being paid to put me through abuse. Two of them have been putting me through abuse for 5 years, and then there's a new person that's moved next door. She's been putting me through abuse for about 3 months now, and for about 20 months now, the abuse from this landlord has been very intense. And I've been put through torture in my home because he's turned my home into a torture chamber. Deliberately, because he's partnered up with corrupt members of the justice system to try and have me abused to death in my home. So he's got illegal cameras in my home. He's watching my devices illegally. So are these people. They're looking into my home 24 hours a day, watching every single thing I do. This includes people that this landlord has working for him. St George Community Housing. They are behind all this abuse I'm going through in my home. They also track my vehicle so this landlord knows when I'm on my way home from anywhere I go. So he can do anything in my home that he likes. He would have keys to the property. And he sits back and he tells these neighbours what to do. These people also watch my heart on a monitor as they carry out abuse to see how much I'm panicking. They also watch to see what I eat, everything I do, everything I buy. They look for ways that they can put me through psychological abuse by watching me in my home. They watch me so closely that if I even have a cup of coffee, they will amp up the abuse after I have that coffee, just to deliberately try and make my heart race. They're watching my heart on a monitor because there are corrupt members of the health system that are involved in this as well, that have also teamed up with corrupt members of the justice system that have placed a device in my body that monitors my vital signs. So these people can see my heartbeat. They know if I'm panicking, and if I'm panicking, they will carry out more abuse to deliberately try and cause me to have a heart attack or some kind of health episode. The justice system don't want me to be able to take care of myself, or they want me completely gone. So this landlord has done so much. I mean, when the truth comes out about what St George Community Housing have been involved in here and what they have done, people are going to be absolutely shocked, because the abuse that I've been put through, it can be classified as a crime against humanity. It is so cruel. It is so extreme. And no one deserves to go through anything like this. I can't believe that I'm living in Australia and this is happening to me. I can't. And the only protection I have from this landlord is my channel, because the Campbelltown police are also involved in this. And they encourage these people to abuse me as much as they possibly can. They also view into my home on illegal cameras. This landlord also has other people in the community viewing into my home whenever they like. These people can see into my bedroom, and they a lot of those people are people that have put me through so much abuse that they are viewing into my home to watch me be put through cruelty here by these neighbours, hoping that I pass away from the abuse. They're trying to keep me in constant fight or flight mode, so where I'm always having to protect my life and my health from these people. And I'm totally alone in this. There's no one to turn to for help. Anyone I turn to for help, the justice system block the help. So I have to explain all that for people to know that, I'm not crazy here. This is happening to me. You only got to go back on my channel to see that I'm telling the truth here. But these people must believe in their minds that if they hurry up and kill me, that they're going to get away with this, because there's corrupt members of the health system involved in this, there's corrupt ambulance drivers, there's corrupt members of all the emergency services involved in this here in Campbelltown. So far this morning, as soon as I woke up, the woman that lives in the unit next door to me has been tampering with my air. She sits there and she just flicks her range hood on and off. When she does this, it sends through the smell of her home, and it's not nice to me to be breathing that. I don't know what is in that air, and I shouldn't have to sit in my home and breathe that smell. I'm in my home. Not only that, she's sending fibres of the insulation dust from the insulation down into my roof. It is insulation fibres that fall from every single part of this unit down into my home and covers my home. When any of these neighbours put their range hoods on, that's what happens. The woman downstairs, though, when she puts hers on, the dust falls from the roof like quite a bit more than when the other two do. But they're all being paid to do this. So far this morning, she's been doing that, and I'm so traumatised by what these neighbours have put me through over the past 20 months that they know my heartbeat automatically goes up. I'm so traumatised by it that I've only got to smell the slightest thing out of place in my home, and I know that's coming from these neighbours, and knowing that these people have control of my air, it's very scary. It is, and they're desperate. They're absolutely desperate, and they're dangerous, and they're mentally disturbed people. And I'm not just saying that. Go back on my channel and see what these people have done, and you will see that it would take a very mentally disturbed person who enjoys being cruel, who enjoys watching somebody suffer, to do what they do. They're professional abusers, professional torturers, you may as well say, because that's what I'm going through here. They're manipulating my heartbeat. It's attempted murder, and it's violent assault, the way they're manipulating my heart, because I can't control my heart. I'm seeing a heart specialist right now, so I have to, let people know what's happening on my channel as much as possible, because these people are trying to set it up to make it look like, she's seeing a heart specialist, so it's going to look like a natural cause if something happens to her heart. So they're working overtime to try and cause me a heart episode. Then after that, after I had put a video up about what that neighbour was doing this morning next door, this neighbour that lives diagonally to me, he started tampering with the air, and he breathes cigarette smoke into my home. And when he does this, it takes over my whole unit. I don't know how this comes through into my unit. They're turning on their range hoods, and somehow when they just turn it on, even for a second, it engulfs my whole unit somehow with either the smell or the substance that they're sending through. And he's been sending through cigarette smoke this morning, so that was another panic attack after I'd already had one from the other neighbour. When I woke up this morning too, there was also abusive men carrying out noise attacks around Campbelltown. Although there's not as many anymore, they're still doing this just to let me know that they're viewing illegally into my home on these illegal cameras, and they do that just to try and show me that they have control over me. They're watching my heartbeat, they're watching my vital signs. These people know before I even move of a morning that I've woken up, because whatever this monitor, this monitor that's in my body is picking up when I go from sleeping to waking. So the second I wake up, these people can start carrying out noise and pollution attacks around town, even if it's just one person waiting around the corner to do that. That's what they do. The Campbelltown police encourage this. They encourage this every chance they get. They're viewing into my home. They're watching me go through this. They carry out abuse themselves. I'm also traumatised by sirens because of what they've put me through for 20 months. It's all happening because of a cover-up. Then, after he was doing that, I think I put up another post after he did that. I'm constantly having to fight for my life here, and this is what they try and do too, is to create distractions. It's to create distractions, so I'm constantly fighting for my life, constantly having to make these videos. That's my life, is just making these videos and fighting for my life right now. That's it. But I've had to come to terms with that. I've had to accept that. I can't control what these people do. All I can do is fight for my life here, and that's what I'm doing. So he's breathing smoke in. I spoke up about that. Then this is how they degrade me and humiliate me in my home. I mean, even when the police stalk, that's degrading and humiliating to me because everybody knows why they're doing that. Everyone's watching my heartbeat. They're watching it speed up. So that is humiliation. This morning, after he was breathing cigarette smoke into my home and I spoke up about it, St. George Community Housing will send me messages as well. And, you know, these messages, they're very subtle and they look like they're just normal messages, like it's just circumstantial evidence if I was to say anything about them. People could say, you know, that's nothing, that's just a message. But it's how they do this, the way they time these messages. They time sending me a message inviting me to a celebration while they've got this creep who's a known pervert peeping Tom in this area, who they have given a camera to watch me on. They've given him tools to torture me on through the range hoods, the rigged range hoods. They've given him access to my devices to stalk me 24 hours a day. After he's just, while he's breathing cigarette smoke into my home, they're sending me a message inviting me to one of their barbecues. And that was psychological abuse. It was aimed at trying to trigger me to have an angry outburst of some kind, because of course I'm going to be angry. On one hand, they're telling this person to breathe cigarette smoke in my house, and then at the same time, they're sending me a message inviting me to their celebration. But that would have been timed and that would have been set up because St. George Community Housing have someone sitting there all day brainstorming, watching everything I do in my home and carrying out abuse around my home and on me living in my home. Then if I mention certain things in my home, they'll carry out abuse outside my home. They'll set up people. They'll get people to come and carry out little scenarios, to act out little scenarios. And it's based on what they have heard or seen me do either in my home on these illegal cameras or on my devices. They watch everything. They take notes. They also have information about me from my past, that they have gained from my abusive family members who have stolen my inheritance and legacy, who also sit back and watch me on these illegal cameras. They watch me go through this abuse. They sit back and they're relying on these abusive neighbours and this landlord to try and abuse me to death. That's what their lives, their stability relies on that every day because they've stolen from me for their stability. So that they're relying on me passing away or having a sudden health episode because of these neighbours. There's also been abusive men stalking my home all morning. They're using loud fuel-consuming cars. And there's a lot of businessmen in Campbelltown that have been involved in this abuse over the past 20 months. And it's a lot of those men. There goes one now. There's a lot of those men that are sending stalkers towards me. And these people, they're all working together. And I said yesterday on the video that it is the cruelest people that are still involved in this. It's only the cruelest people that have just done so much to put me through abuse over the past 20 months that they are panicking, they are desperate, and they're just doing anything they can to put me through intense abuse, whether I'm in my home or when I go out. It's all the people that have been involved in this that are sending those stalkers towards me. And when I go out, they're putting me through psychological abuse. It happened yesterday at another shopping centre. There's 4 main shopping centres that I go to around here, and they're all, every time I go to any of them, there are stalkers. And there's people at management levels in those places that have been involved. So this is a huge network of people that all stem and branch out from my toxic family members that have stolen my life from me. Everyone has a motive in this, and it's not good. Everyone that's involved has some kind of motive, whether they're trying to cover up a crime. A lot of my family members were involved in this because they just didn't want me having control of my inheritance and my legacy. Abusive men. The 2 people that actually bought me up, they've been plotting on stealing that from me since I was a child, putting me through abuse my entire life, preparing for this moment. And it's just got worse and worse and worse, where they've dragged in everybody, so many people, and they've lied to those people to do that. They've been able to change how people seen me, even from when I was a child. They've done that. And they've deliberately done things and said things to make me fail in life, my whole life. So it was when I got away from those people that I started to see clearly about who they were and what they've done. And, it's only now that I can have the confidence and that to speak up about this. So this channel is my only protection from this landlord. My main priority right now is stopping the abuse of my heir and stopping the abuse that I go through when I leave my home, because it's degrading, it's humiliating, and these people have taken my human rights away. My human rights have been taken away by these people. They've got my life bailed up. So abusive men and women can get away with their crimes. So I need urgent help here. If there's anyone out there that can help me stop these people, please help me. The reason I wanted to speak up about what I've just spoken up about is because I just wanted to show how these people are humiliating me and degrading me in my home. Because when St. George Community Housing would have sent me that message, there's people viewing in my home illegally. There's people viewing my devices illegally. Random members of the community. Very, very abusive people. Criminals. But there's people from all walks of life. There's leaders watching those things too. Certain leaders, people that are supposed to be leaders, that have sat back and watched it all happen. They want something to happen to me too, because they haven't done nothing about it. And, there's a certain, that's humiliating. It's humiliating to me to be put through abuse like that, where, St. George Community Housing think that's funny. You think that's funny? To abuse a helpless person in their home. I'm not helpless. I don't want to use the word helpless, but I'm defenseless from this, because the police are involved and you're attacking the oxygen in my home. You think that's funny to be that cruel, St. George Community Housing? And there's women that work there that are very much involved in this, that are involved in carrying out this cruel abuse. They know very well what's happening. If I message the George Community Housing, they ignore me. The other day I sent them a message, it was about rent, and they answered me about that. Of course they would. But when it's about abuse, they ignore me. So please, if there's anyone out there that can help me, please help me. I need urgent help here because these people, as I said, they're desperate. These people are absolutely, this landlord's trying to take my life by speeding my heart up and down all day long with cruel, torturous abuse, and he's doing this with an audience. So this is how desperate this person is, and the people who work for him and these neighbours. Thank you for listening.